Senator Lundeen.
Thank you, Madam President. As introduced, Senate Bill 153 would have radically reshaped the way elections are administered in this state. It would have allowed the Secretary of State to become both the prosecutor and the enforcer of election law, roles which the American legal system has traditionally held separate. We eschew as Americans this idea of judge, jury, and executioner. We know that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. It would have also sullied the free speech protections of the First Amendment by punishing speech acts by election officials that you and I might disagree with, but are nonetheless the constitutional right of every American to make. Now, I'm grateful that the majority party reconsidered these radical provisions in the bill and chose to take a slightly different path. Unfortunately, the amendments adopted by this body on the second reading do not change the fact that Senate Bill 153 will wrest control of elections from the government that serves the people best, the one closest to the people in Colorado. That means our county clerks and recorders. A number of provisions in the bill remain that, in my view, and in much of the Republican caucus's view, are extreme and problematic. The amended bill would continue to mandate that duly elected county clerks complete a certification program before they're able to serve as elections officials. This is an offense to democracy, the very thing that Senate Bill 153 seeks to safeguard. This certification program is not international or even nationally recognized. It's not a specific credential. It's a curriculum, and the qualifications of its instructors have not been defined in any great detail by any body. Rather, this is a program that operates entirely at the discretion of the Secretary of State. We don't require that duly elected district attorneys across the state satisfy training requirements defined by the Attorney General. So why would we require our clerks and recorders to answer to the Secretary of State in this way? Section 7 of the amended bill would prohibit an individual from serving as an election official if they've been convicted of certain crimes. I would note that the crimes indicated here appear to be more about politics than about serious policy considerations. Do the bill sponsors believe the persons convicted of any election offense or sedition, treason, conspiracy, or any similar federal offense, heinous all, are not fit to serve as election officials, but that first-degree murderers, child abusers, kidnappers are fit to serve? Also heinous crimes. This prohibition on persons convicted of certain crimes from serving as election officials would appear to closely resemble the amendment to the City of Aurora's charter, which was passed by voters in 1961, which prohibits that, quote, persons convicted of a felony shall not become a candidate and are not qualified to hold elective office. This provision is currently being challenged in court by the ACLU of Colorado on the basis that it violates the state constitution. The bill continues to fly too close to constitutional infringement by half. Our state constitution provides that former felons regain rights of citizenship after completing their sentences, and our state Supreme Court has found that the right to run for office is defined as a fundamental right. For these reasons, Senate Bill 153 flies in the face of our state constitution, even as amended. Again, the very thing the bill claims to protect. Section 9 of the bill requires that all local governments in the state of Colorado use electronic voting machines, a blatant violation of our strong tradition of respecting local control. Colleagues, I've heard from many of my constituents, you probably have too, that they don't have confidence in the electronic voting machines. Regardless of how some in this chamber may feel about those concerns, the fact remains that many people across this state, certainly many from my district and my county, have concerns, and they have a right to determine what mechanisms will be used to count votes in our elections. just as the people of Boulder and Adams counties have the right to decide how they will count the votes cast in their election. We find more mandates governing in great detail where voting machines are maintained, the use of electronic surveillance systems, key card access systems, and the bill offers a paltry $500,000 for 64 counties to support the costs associated with all of these mandates. Colleagues, you hear, and we are all deeply concerned on an ongoing basis from the counties about unfunded mandates. This is an unfunded mandate, unattainable, unachievable in many ways, put upon the backs of counties and improperly, incompletely funded, should it be the will of the General Assembly. Colleagues, considering that compliance with this bill will likely involve major capital projects for many of our local governments, that sum is definitely not sufficient. Finally, Senate Bill 153 will undermine the important role that county canvass boards play in assuring the integrity of our elections, effectively allowing again the consolidation of power in the hands of the Secretary of State to overrule those local bodies. According to Colorado Revised Statutes 110.101.5, canvass boards have three responsibilities: reconcile the ballots cast in an election to confirm the number of ballots counted in the election does not exceed the number of ballots cast in that election. A equals A. 1 plus 1 must equal 2. Reconcile the ballots cast in each precinct in the county to confirm that the number of ballots cast does not exceed the number of registered electors in the precinct. You can't have more people voting than should be voting. And 3, certify the abstract of votes cast in any election and transmit that certification to the Secretary of State. A majority of the canvass board members' signatures shall be sufficient to certify the abstract of votes cast in any election. When unable, this is critical, when unable to certify the abstract of votes by the majority of the board for any reason, the canvass board shall transmit the non-certified abstracts to the votes to the Secretary of State, along with a written report detailing the reason for non-certifications. Senate Bill 153 states that if the canvass board dutifully conducts its review and finds there is a discrepancy between the number of ballots cast and the number of ballots counted, the Secretary of State can simply ignore the board's concerns and certify the results of an election in any given county. Now, that was amended slightly. A representative of the Secretary of State in consultation with the county commissioners, but it's still a consolidation of power into the hands of the Secretary of State. County commissioners can't say no. They simply get to say, yes, that person's acceptable, for the Secretary of State to force his or her Republican or Democrat will. How are we to support the integrity of elections if we're silencing the very people that our laws have designated as the auditors of that system? Concerning increasing internal election security measures. That's the title of 153. But it could not be further from the truth. For the truth is that if passed, this amended Senate Bill 153 will put the results of elections in doubt as millions of Colorado voters across the state look upon an electoral system that is administered by a hyper-partisan politician here in Denver, away from the seats of county government that best represent the interests of the people. I continue with my strenuous urging of a no vote on Senate Bill 153. Madam President, thank you.